Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. First of all, I want to say thank you so much for being patient with me. I know I've been delaying getting a new video out and I do apologize about that. I've been a little MIA and I'm just kind of taking some time away from trading and work and just enjoying time with my family during this quarantine. But that being said, I'm here and I'm back and I have a new video for you guys. So in today's video, I'm going to go through my 5 tips for scalping and becoming a great scalper. So a lot of people ask me, what is a stock? So a lot of people ask me, what is scalping? What do you do as a scalper? How does it work? How does it compare to day trading and swing trading? When you're scalping, you're buying and are selling a stock multiple times throughout the day for a small profit. So usually when you're in a scalp position, you're holding that position anywhere from a couple of seconds to a couple of minutes. In my personal opinion, I think any more than 10 minutes, it turns into a day trade, but everyone has their own definition for scalping and how long they want to hold when they're scalping. Usually when I'm scalping, it's anywhere from a couple of seconds to no more than like 5 or 7 minutes. So that being said, there are a few things that you should keep in mind when you're scalping. It is a little bit different than day trading and swing trading. Obviously, they're all different from each other and they all require different strategies and different techniques. But for scalping, these are some of the things that have helped me. So that being said, over the past couple of months, I started scalping back in June or July when I first started trading options. I've just picked up on little things that are helpful, especially to people that are just getting into scalping or moving from swing trading to day trading to scalping, whatever it is that you're doing. It's good to keep these little tips and tricks in mind. The first one is personality. So you have to have a scalper's mindset. What that means is that you have to be confident, you have to be focused. Scalping is a very fast-paced environment. Like I said, you're in a position anywhere from a couple of seconds to a couple of minutes. So execution is key. You have to be fast. You cannot hesitate when it comes to scalping. That few second hesitation, that trade is already done. The play is over. You've missed the play. So it's really, really important to be confident, to not hesitate when you're taking on a trade, to make sure that your execution is on point, practice execution, because if your execution is delayed or you hesitate, like I said, you can miss the play because it is really fast paced. Another thing that goes with all of that is setting alerts. Because it's such a fast paced environment and there's a lot of plays that could be happening at once and you could be watching multiple stocks, it's really important to set alerts. One, you won't have to sit in front of your computer all day. I'm one of those people that I just can't stay focused like that. I can't sit there in front of my computer. I end up taking really bad plays, or I get greedy, or whatever the case is. You force a trade if you're just sitting in front of your computer all day, especially now during quarantine. It's really hard to not want to trade when you're sitting there in front of your computer. So make sure you set alerts. Walk away from your computer. I always like to set my alerts about 10 to 15, 20 cents below or above the level that I'm watching, just in case the stock is approaching that level. I'm able to go ahead and take a look at the stock, see what it's doing, and prepare my order if I'm going to take on that trade. Second tip for being a great scalper is limit the use of indicators. I know being a new trader, you always want to use all of these indicators, and I see a lot of traders where their charts are just bombarded with so many indicators. And when it comes to scalping, the problem is when you have so many indicators on your chart and you're trying to read all of those indicators all at once, and it takes you a certain amount of time to be able to read all of that and then be able to execute on that play, if you're going to take that play. And with scalping, you have to be able to read everything in less than a minute. If you want to take on that trade and you're not able to read all of your indicators and everything that your chart is telling you in less than a minute, you're gonna miss the play. Me personally, I don't use indicators. The only indicator that I use occasionally is the VWAP, and even that I don't use that often. So all I use when I trade is obviously price action, a level 2 in time and sales, and volume average. That's all I'm really using when I'm trading. I don't use indicators like that. It hasn't been helpful for me. When you're swing trading and day trading, that's, I think, a little bit different, and you can use indicators at that point. But when you're scalping, because it's so fast paced, by the time you've read all of your indicators, you've already missed the move, and it's really frustrating at that point. So limit the use of your indicators. Find the ones that are really, really necessary for your strategy and use those. Number 3 is don't bag hold your positions. I know this one a lot of new traders struggle with, especially when you're just getting into scalping. It's really hard to not want to continue to hold, especially through pullbacks and other things that could potentially turn into reversals. So what I always recommend to traders is always know what type of trade you're getting into before you're getting into it. So what I mean by that is you should have a trading setup. When you're about to take on a position, you need to know, am I scalping this position? Am I day trading it, or am I swinging it? You should know that before you take on that position. If you decide that you're going to scalp that position, do not turn it into a day trade. Do not turn it into a swing trade. It needs to be scalped. If you decide that you're going to day trade it. Don't turn it into a swing trade, and so on and so forth. I see a lot of traders that are like, I'm scalping, but when you look at their positions, it's not. You just held the whole stock for the entire day because you were hoping that it would go back to the level that you were watching and it ended up reversing on you. And I've seen that a lot, and I've done that a lot. So as a scalper, you need to have a trading setup. You need to have a solid entry point, and an exit strategy. So for example, if the stock is not going to go, if stock ends up not going in the direction that you wanted it to go to, you need to know when you're going to exit that stock. If you don't have an exit plan, whether the stock is going in your direction or it's not going in your direction, you need to know when you're going to get out on either side of that trade. If the stock is going up, what's your exit point on that stock? What is the level that you're going to exit that stock on? If the stock ends up reversing, it doesn't end up going your way, what is your exit strategy? How much are you willing to lose before you're getting out of that stock? Or what level do you want to get out of that stock at? You need to have all of those points set before you enter a position. To add on to that, when you end up bag holding a position, it means that you're emotionally attached to that trade. You're hoping that the trade goes back up. You're hoping that the trade goes up a little bit more, or down a little bit more, whatever the case may be. That hope, that emotional attachment to that trade, if you like Netflix, if you like Tesla, you're a huge fan of BA, whatever the case may be, whenever you're emotionally attached to a stock or a trade, that always ends up affecting you when you're trading that stock. So just be careful and make sure that your emotions are in check. Bag holding never ends up well, so always have a trading setup. Always have an entry and exit strategy in case the trade doesn't go your way, and you're going to be set. Number 4 on the list is risk management. When it comes to risk management and scalping, sometimes it's a little difficult because as scalpers, we're not looking for these huge profits. Sometimes you're just looking for what you can get, especially if the market's choppy, if the stocks aren't moving as much throughout the day. You're kind of just looking for every little tiny candle movement that you can get, price extremes that you can catch. That being said, it can be a little bit difficult to manage your risk. Now, what I suggest when I first started scalping, I wouldn't put up more than 10 to 15% of my account in any given position. So the reason for that is that's what I was comfortable with losing. When you're scalping, it's very risky. I will tell you guys that scalping is a lot riskier than day trading and swing trading. The reason being is that especially now the market's so volatile, stocks could reverse very quickly on you. And if you're in a position and you have a hefty position size, if that stock reverses, you're already down a huge amount of whatever you've put up. So I always recommend people to not trade more than what they're comfortable with losing in that position. So number 5 on the list is candlestick formation. Candlestick formation is really important in determining whether the stock is going to end up going up or going down. If you're in a position the stock's going to reverse, you need to get out, or if it's just taking a little break and you can still stay in. It's really, really important to be able to read those candles. So you need to determine whether that candle is a strong bearish candle, a strong bullish candle, or somewhere in between those two. And then you need to determine how much volume is on that candle. That's going to help you determine whether it's a reversal or whether it's just a little break and you can still stay in that trade. Another thing is with candlestick formations and scalping, reading candlestick patterns is really helpful as well. I'm not a huge pattern person, honestly, but the wedge pattern, the ascending and descending triangles are ones that I use often. I also have a sheet that I utilize that tells me if it's a bearish candle or a bullish candle, and I keep that in front of me. I used to read it very heavily, but now I've kind of familiarized myself with the bearish candles and the bullish candles and kind of the in-between. So I'll link that down below. It's really helpful if you guys want to just print it out and keep it in front of you when you're trading, especially when you're learning how to scalp. And you're practicing as well. You can kind of see how the candles are forming and what the stock ends up doing after that candle formation. So that's it for today's video, guys. Those are my 5 tips to becoming a great scalper. Hopefully you guys found this helpful. And it cleared up any questions you guys have. If you guys still have any questions, go ahead and comment down below or shoot me a DM on Twitter, Instagram, whatever you guys want to do. And I'll see you guys in next week's video. Bye.